Hello everyone and welcome to the Deercast. I'm really lucky, joined today by Matt from Grove Game Larder. Any of you who are not following him on Instagram, you need to go and do it now. Fascinating page. You get to see all the different antics he is up to. Matt and I are down here on some of his ground just outside Bristol. We've been doing a sort of photo shoot guiding event, I suppose, with Harkeela and Sealand. Matt and I have been taking various different people out. We took some out last night, this morning, back out again tonight, and then we're going out again tomorrow night. I think this is going to really jinx it now. We've had success on every single outing pretty well, and got a tally of what, 6 roebuck, is it?
6, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing pretty well.
Doing pretty well. So I've just completely jinxed it and probably ruined it for the rest of the trip now. But there you go. Whilst I've been down here, I've been using the Pulsar XQ35 thermal, which is my go-to thermal. You guys will all have seen a sort of review video that we did on that a while ago. But Matt is using something much more exciting, still from Pulsar, but it's kind of well, I was going to say the big brother to the XQ35. It's probably like the big brother to the XQ35.
Yeah, I mean, there's been leaps and bounds in it. I mean, everyone who knows sort of about thermal seems to sort of move on so quickly. It's a job to keep up with the technology, really. I've had an XQ38 for 6 or 7 years, and it has been a phenomenal piece of kit and still does the job more than adequately. It's just that when you look through the new stuff, or for showroom aside, when you look through the new stuff out in like a real shooting, hunting situation, it's just phenomenal, the extra pop and clarity that you get. And I mean, they do cost a lot more, there's no escaping that, and it's a massive investment for anyone. So I was really interested to see what the difference was really, and what the extra features are, and whether they are worth the money. And I mean, going from traditional binoculars to thermal binoculars, personally I always thought I would prefer a monocular, because I didn't want it to get in the way of the other system or the other binoculars I was using. But as we'll probably explain a bit later, it is a bit of an eye-opener really on the extra features you get and how much you can actually use them a lot more than you even thought you would do.
So I don't want to interrupt you, and everyone right now is desperate to know, firstly, what these look like, but secondly, more details about them. But the question I'm desperate to know is that obviously you've stalked with binoculars before.
Yeah.
Do you still now stalk with binoculars and a sort of set of thermal binoculars, or are you slightly now kind of thinking, I might not necessarily need the binoculars, I might just use these?
You know, I think it depends what sort of species you're after. If you're sort of post-November and you're looking for fallow culls and fallow numbers, then I don't think you need a set of binoculars. I think you can quite clearly make out the very individual features of an animal, even at quite a long range, in terms of its body shape, its mass, the thickness of its neck, and all that sort of stuff, which will dictate whether it is a buck or a doe or a pricket, even to a certain extent. So you can pick out the mannerisms that those animals have, which differentiate them. I think if in a situation like we're in at the moment, where it's summer and you're looking at roe, which are quite, I mean, you can still tell the frame side of things, but you can't make out the headgear. You can when they're in velvet, but not when they're in hard antler above, say, 80, 100 meters plus, unless you've got perfect conditions, so it's really crisp and clear, there's not a lot of humidity in the air. These things do have a feature on them which can sort of very quickly cut from high humidity, rain, fog, and all that sort of stuff, which you lose a bit of clarity on it, but that's to be expected. It's still a good picture. But if you're looking to tell the quality of a buck over the quality of another buck, you still have to, I think, go back to binoculars, because you can't really beat traditional glass, quality glass especially, when you're actually looking for particular features in daylight, really.
Super interesting to know.
Yeah.
Because when I sort of see you with those in my mind, having not sort of, I mean, I've looked through those, I've not stalked with those as such, but I kind of look at it going, hang on a minute, is that going to mean I can do away with the binoculars? But as you say, you might, that very finer detail with the summer kind of roebuck, perhaps, to have a pair of binos as well, really handy. It is,
especially if you're taking a client out. Not that I do a huge amount of client stalking, but if you do take a client out and they're looking to, it sounds terrible, but you've got to, if you're putting a price on something and you're looking to clarify what that is, you don't want to be gauging stuff through a scope. You've got to literally have proper eyes on it, which is why I think you'll never really get away from glass unless there's some form of thing in the pipeline or a future to have like some form of HD binocular daylight version of this, similar to this, what they've got on the C50. If they had that sort of feature where you could get that proper zoom clarity on something like this, that would probably be a big game changer for the roebuck side of things. But as I was saying, for fallow deer, when you're after numbers, fallow seeker reds, you know what they look like, you know where they are. To be honest with you, most people who are doing sort of any serious numbers don't really care whether it's a buck or a doe at a certain stage if you've got to get the numbers down, and for that they're just perfect. Spot, range, stalk, bang, and it's simple as that.
So these are the Pulsar Merger
LRF XP50s, yeah.
XP50s. The question that's going to be on everyone's lips is, what sort of price range are we talking?
Well, they seem to vary a bit, but it's about between 4,200 and 4,500 quid, I think. Like I say, they're a fair investment. I'm hugely lucky that I've managed to blag my way onto the Pulsar ProSAF team somehow. I'm not sure how. And they sent me these to try. And like I say, initially I thought I would be a monocular person, because I don't like that, because the binocular side of things I thought would be really complicated for the daylight stalking. But it's actually, for daylight, they are very, very good, and they're not cumbersome. They're not an obscene weight. They don't really get in the way too much at all, really.
Nowhere near as heavy as I thought they were going to be.
No, they look bulky, but they don't look. They look mass, but
yeah.
they're not. They're not.
You've got quite the sort of objective lens. That bit there. I guess it looks bulky, but it's not actually really that bulky, is it?
No.
Well, I guess it's 50 millimeters, hence the 50. I guess.
Yeah.
So come on then. So features wise.
Features-wise, well, you've got quite a clever, depending on the ambient humidity, the temperature, humidity, all that sort of things, which would normally interfere with a thermal. I think it's called the NEDT or something. I need to really figure out exactly how these tick. But in terms of the practical purpose, you can switch from one of 3 different, I guess, not densities, but
modes.
Yes, I guess in basic principles, simple modes really. Where if you want super good clarity, and it's the correct ambient, like good temperature and good low humidity, you'd have it on like an N feature. And if then it's slightly higher humidity or foggy, you can up it to an H or a U, and you go from there. But each time you go up, you lose a bit of the smaller, the finer points that you would normally get in terms of clarity. But in terms of that side of things, it's still a leap and bound ahead of the XQ38 I had before. So that's one side. You can change obviously the colour palettes depending on how you like it, from anywhere between white hot, black hot, rainbows, monarch, all sorts really, and that is quite good as well if you're stalking well, shooting at night, for example. Because one thing I found when I prefer white hot for stalking, personally, daylight. I found that white hot at night with a binocular, which is utilising both eyes, you can be walking around and you see, like, if there are ruts in the ground from livestock or tractors or anything like that, you're black spotted, or both eyes instead of just one eye, and you're stumbling around in the dark. Whereas if you put this on like a red filter, or like you don't lose that night vision, and it's fantastic. It took me a long time to realise you needed to go on red, and yeah.
We learn from your mistakes, don't you?
Exactly, but it's brilliant, and it's a piece of piss to switch between the two as well.
Laser rangefinder.
Yeah, LRF laser rangefinder. I think this goes out to, I think it's like 700 or 800 meters. It's ridiculous, wow. And the clarity out there as well is still brilliant. And you can ping and track. It's really effective. I've got some video on it which I'll chuck over. Yeah,
we'll share kind of either we'll do a little insert in this video, or we'll share some with you at the end. And that was going to be my next question, because my Axion XQ35, I can pair it with my phone and watch it as like a viewfinder if I want to, or just download footage, vice versa. Again, I presume these do the same, if not better. Exactly
the same. Yeah, you just put it on. You activate the Wi-Fi, and you can just literally just sit there in a high seat and do it there and then. Yeah, it's very, very intuitive, which is what I kind of like about the Pulsar stuff. I mean, if I'm honest with you, even if I wasn't being given this stuff to borrow, I'd probably still buy it, because that's where my thermal journey started, was with Pulsar, because I like the intuitive features on it, and that hasn't gone away at all. They are brilliant. I really like them.
We were just saying before, it was a small thing you brought up, which was the power cord. which I'm pretty sure we did have somewhere with us. We probably, oh, here we go. I'm sitting on it, Matt.
Brilliant.
Is that when your Pulsar unit, regardless of the model you order, turns up, it turns up. Mine came with a case, a strap, 2 batteries, a power cord, and well, I mean,
well, it's just I mean, it's the little things really. I mean, there's an expensive piece of kit, and if it arrived with like a Christmas cracker power cord, you'd be pretty pissed off. This one is bulletproof. It's really good. I mean, I know it's just a little thing, but we've been out. What time did we get up? Well, 4 in the morning. Yeah. We've been going hard at it, stalking, and it's got to need
tonight.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to need a charge. I mean, the batteries, change the batteries on these. It's just pop them out, and you can swap your battery out straight away. I know that's seems like a silly feature, but it's such an easy way of doing it on this. There's no messing around. Clipping wise, you can literally just whack down your cigarette lighter on the bottom and charge it as you go, so you can keep topping up. It's good battery, sort of a really intuitive, well, idiot-proof battery meter on there, and yeah, they are fantastic. They are expensive. There's no getting away from it. But I think really, if you've got the pockets deep enough, or you're happy with the finance on them, I think they're such a worthwhile investment. Because like I say, my XU38, I had that 6 years, and it's still good, but it's not a patch on this stuff. And if you want something for the future, I think they are really generally quite good. And I'm not saying that just because I've been given them. I think if I probably would buy them as well, to be honest. They are great. I don't know what I'd do without them at the moment.
So you are ringing endorsement from Matt.
Yeah, it sounds a bit salesy. It does sound pretty cheap and salesy, but it's just an honest opinion. When I first got them, I was like, I'm not sure how these are going to work, because I kind of wanted the monocular, but they're really, really good. There's no getting away from it. They're absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. And the picture clarity, you just can't get away from it. You can see the veins on the trees, and the fact that you can make out the actual characteristics of animals by their body frame and everything is really impressive. There's no getting away from it.
I was just about to say, I mean, and you'll see on our video of the Axion, as I said, for me, stalking, I was like, I don't understand why you would buy anything more expensive thermal wise. That said, looking through this, I can now understand why you might spend more on a thermal, because as Matt said, the quality and the clarity, or the additional quality and clarity that you get, is noticeable when you move from something like the Axion to something like this. So I think, probably to summarise, if your pockets are deep enough, this is an amazing, awesome bit of kit that is going to give you that edge, I think, is what we're saying. Yeah,
I mean, the Axion is fantastic. If you've got some miles to cover, you can't go wrong with an Axion, because they're handheld. They fit in your pocket. There's no pendulum around your neck or anything like that, and they are super lightweight. And they'll do from November onwards, or whenever really. If you're looking to find a heat signature which you can then stalk into and use your binoculars, then absolutely fine. They are really good. But for the extra clarity, if in terms of improving your experience as you're going round, the amount of extra stuff you'll see the clarity of the extra stuff you'll see is worth the money.
So there you go, everyone. A massive thank you to Matt for joining us and sharing his thoughts and opinions on Pulsar Merger, well, and just thermals and stalking in general. Matt is a huge sort of fountain of knowledge, so we're really lucky to have him on. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below. I probably won't know the answer if they're about the Merger, but I'll point you in Matt's direction. So yeah, drop comments below.
I'll look it up on the internet and then say it like I knew it all the time. So yeah, we'll do that.
There you go, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Okay.